ጥማት ማለት እዩ መጀመርያ ዶንጊና ብንፃና ወሬታ አራያ መጀመርና ተረኩም ጥማት ማለት እዩ መጀመርያ ዶንጊና ብንፃና ወሬታ አራያ መጀመርና ተረኩም ጥማት ማለት እዩ መጀመርያ ዶንጊና ብንፃና ወሬታ እንደሴ መጀመርና Hello? I think it's fine. Okay. بعد ذكركم قدمات كلاتكم مالتي ومجموعة دقيقة مالتي. Okay. بعد ذكركم قدمات كلاتكم مالتي دقيقة مالتي. Okay. بعد ذكركم قدمات كلاتكم مالتي ومجموعة دقيقة مالتي.
Emma, mito kan, mito kan, jadi mito kan, bisa ya bukan.
Nanti bukan. Ya.
Coba. Kurang teknikal agak segala
Fine now.
Jahash.
Yeah.
Karena macam kurang teknikal agak segala macam itu mereka. Jahash. Karena macam sama teknikal agak segala macam itu mereka. Halo. Mudahan. Karena macam Okay. Hello. سمعنا لهم هديس كي أنا بقى بزومات يكون لهم سامن تلي محمد. Okay. Hello. أمودان. كان يهمنا سامن تلي هم لما بزومات يكون لهم وريتا. مسات فيها. أنت سامن لهم؟ Hello? أبو زوم زل لهم؟ سمع لهم؟ Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Alright, Mar. زي خبركم. أبو زوم زل لهم؟ Okay. Thank you. سمع لهم؟ Alright, Mar. زي خبركم. أبو زوم زل لهم؟ Okay. Thank you. Okay, I think the technical بنيات حسب اسمهم لهم ولا سوكوينا مالتي. هلا سمعنا لهم حادث كيف نمتنا مودة تحسن قبل سمعنا تليهم.
This is good now.
اوكي سمعت لهم. So I think the camera is yours. We have to change it here. Hold on. Yeah, the camera is not. Yeah, still good.
So simple, so easy,
Yeah.
so cheap. Huh?
Yeah.
Everybody can do it.
Okay, so hello, hello. اسمع لنا. أنت سمعنا اليوم حوال. Sorry. أنت سمعنا لهم. سلام سلام سمعنا اليوم. أنت سمعنا اليوم حوال. Sorry. أنت سمعنا لهم.
بمحبراوي مراقبيتات كوم دما بساتلايت تلفزيون تكاتاتلنا زلهم تخاتاتلتي تلفزيون استنا حجي اب واشنطن دي سي نركب لنا وعلى فلسي ني ناي سرعات لوطي كاب لومي 14 تجميرو كساب بحر صباح 10 شبشته عملك قلتليو نغديو حدا تكنيكاوي تجمعات يعريلو بزخونه ግን جست اشهر قبلكم يسكت سمعوا انت لهم ملكت تقول لي
ودخل لغاتكم كتابعكم اللي قريتها قابلنا تكنيكا وسجمات كل لغاتكم بتزلكم ناي كاميرا تخطوا كتابعكم اللي بيس بجهاتكم كل لغاتكم سكن thank you so much كل لغاتكم اللي كمان لنا بتعمل بتزلكم ناي كاميرا تخطوا كتابعكم اللي بيس بجهاتكم حراي بار Thank you so much for that.
كبرات تخاتاتلتي زيناتي بزي ما قال تسمعون تهليهم اسك ملكت حدا خل تقبروا لي حدا قبروا لي
ستيل تا سجم غناي تفوستنا الله غريتا عطكم يقال حلو وقتكم كمل الاخوات
اب فيسبوك اب يوتيوب كوم دما
يقال حلو
مقال قبروا لكم تلفزيوناتي تراي في لايف كم ملكت قبروا لي
اوكي I think كنا شكرنا زمان بدل اخواتنا اوكي بارك صبو بمجمريا تجينا دقاقينا اغريتا على حد ندلي سلاتي زغوان فينا تكنيكا وتسجمات اوكي بارك صبو بمجمريا تجينا دقاقينا اغريتا على حد ندلي سلاتي زغوان فينا تكنيكا وتسجمات حجي تعال فعلا بس ما نعم نصح ناتي دين ستراي اسمعوا زعما في الاونلاين زلو جن سمعنا يا حجي ناي مودا تحوات كشكركم تامس ابس كهابوني سمعت له تامس اوكي جود بتشم كمتي تفلتوا مالت تايب حدا غزي ناي الكترونيكس ነገር تقاطر يدخل ميها ስለዚህ ኣብዚ ዘለና አዳራሽ ቴክኒካዊ ፀገማት አጓኒፉ እንሆ ናይ ሰዓት ናይ ዘማ ኣብዚ ጋሽ ተለው ጥራይ ደኹምኩት ናይቶም ብማዕዶ ብቪርቹዋል ወይ ከዓ ዙም ተከታተልና ኣሕዋት እውን ግዜኹም በደናልኩም ኣለና ብስም ፈሲ ሰላም ዲሞክራሲ ኤርትራ ንቕሬታ ክንሓት ንደሊ ስለዚ እንኳ መጀመርታ እንኳ ኩላትኩም ኣብ ዘለኹም ኣሕዋት ከምኡውን ብኦንላይን بمنزة تكاتلنا أحوال مجمرة أنقع نبدي تاريخي معالتي ناي سرعات لوتي أبي إرترا وكا ريجيم تشينجين إريتريا زبل وكا عبس حقهم وكا عبس حنا نحن ندلي مجم يسيب سنحيلو أبومبر ناي في السلام ديمقراطية إرترا سنحيلو قبل صوه غيلي نزحالة في شد شورحي حيال تعري حيال دخامكم سخيرلو كنرد عينا مالتي تزخون إيه أنا بتا كم مئتوي إلى دردال أخوة عندي صحفت الله أنا بقى أسبروكم يا مالتي Hi everyone and thank you for coming to this SPD's symposium towards a regime change in Eritrea. I believe we are going to have a rich and productive time here towards a positive change in the Horn of Africa region in general and in Eritrea in particular. It is the understanding of this symposium that the political change in Eritrea is due and necessary. I know it takes a lot of effort to be here, coming from so many distances and sacrificing your valuable summertime. But you are doing a very great service to affect a much needed change in Eritrea and in the larger region. This also includes those of you who are joining this symposium virtually. We gratefully for your presence and will seek to make your time here effective, productive, and fruitful. Ladies and gentlemen, we are meeting at a very critical time in Eritrea's history. We find ourselves in a watershed movement, just in Eritrea specifically, but in the history of the Horn of Africa generally. Ethiopia has barely come out from devastating war in Tigray, which culminated in, but not concluded in a peace agreement. This is the first in the Republic history. The current war in Sudan is causing immense destruction internally and has changed the political atmosphere of the region. The disastrous war in Ethiopia, almost a civil war, is halted with uncomfortable peace agreement where there is no actual peace. There are currently many unstable states and regions within Ethiopia. Eritrea has been engaged in a war in Ethiopia and now is actively involved in stabilizing in Sudan. There have been destructive shifts in the politics of those in power throughout the Horn, save in Eritrea where the totalitarian government remains firmly the grip of power that has lasted over 30 years. Although this may seem to present the one stable factor in the midst of upheaval in the region, that stability is at the cost of many lives. The destruction of the country and then the destabilization of the whole region. Although it may be overly ambitious to resolve all the political, cultural, societal, and economic problems in the Horn of Africa, a few things can be done to effect a real change for good in the Horn, especially regarding a long-standing regime in Eritrea. Though change in Eritrea will not solve all the problems, it will have far-reaching outcomes for good in the Horn of generally, in the Eritrean particularly. We have witnessed many efforts toward political change in Eritrea, but due to the interconnected nature of the politics in the Horn of Africa and the other complex reasons, many of these efforts have been unsuccessful. Nevertheless, Eritrean political movements and activists have been resolute to determine that change should happen and have been hopefully anticipating a meaningful way to effect this change. The events of past 2 years, particularly the war in Tigray, has grieved Eritreans, resulting in a massive demonstrations against the Eritrean regime. This resistance has borne good fruit, and we are beginning to see some positive outcomes in the form of change in policy change in some European nations. SPDE fully recognizes and endorses these protests, one happening recently in Gießen, Germany, and vows to support further protests against the regime inside and outside of Eritrea. These protests are currently undertaken by resolute of Eritreans named Brigade Nahamadu. This is a far-reaching outcry which resonates with Eritrean struggle for independence. The Brigade Nahamadu is calling and encouraging for the unity of Eritreans and other oppressed groups in Eritrea. The motive and objectives of FELSI, SPDA, coincides with that of this movement. That SPDE promises to contribute 5,000 USD towards Brigade Nahamadu and reasserts its support for this movement. Thank you again for your presence here, support in this movement. We look forward to a profitable weekend together. Thank you so much. Now, I will pass it on to our chairman, Mr. Yosef Goriwa.
All right, okay. سلام أخوات.
Yeah.
سلام أخوات. قلتها بتعمل حدد. مكنياتو تكنيكال برو شكرا سلسل فنايو. أنا بزحك حزوكم يدلن حجي. يغني لنا نظام زي ما سيوكم لهم. فيزيكال يابستيكو معناته نعاقم يغني لنا. زوم تقاطع لازم لهم ولهم كأ يغني لنا. دمسي. أما thank you, my sincere apologies because we have been facing technical problems. I will be brief. My sincere gratitude to all those who have made it to this hall physically and to those who are following us through Zoom. To all those presenters also, some of whom have made it physically to this hall and the others will give us their presentations through Zoom. So I would also like to thank the organizers, many of them. I'm not gonna mention their names now. Else than that, I would have liked to talk a little bit about the content of the symposium, but each and every one of them will provide it, so I will pass it also. So thank you for all of you, for all your patience. And right now, we will start immediately with presentations. Two of them will be probably postponed because of the timing, but we will start right now with the presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
الرايمبر زي خبركم تخاتلتي خمزي تكاتلوا صنحكم مالتيو حصر زباله متوي تغير زلو بغتا خمزي حنا يسيف بوكس صنحه اي حدا خلت زقون سجريلنا ابز حجوان دكتور تخلا هيمانوت ولد ميكائيل هنا نحلف the making of Barent Tigray says reinventing of the Ethiopian imperial dream زبل تحسيدو له Professor Dr. Takhla Haymanot Wolde Mikael is Associate Professor of Human Geography at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. His research broadly focuses on environmental politics, environmental justice, land rights, state violence, and the broader discourses of sustainable development. Nadrakh, the Dr. Takhla Haymanot. I don't see him. Trainer laha doctor.
ميت لها دكتور تخلاي معنا ثاني سمع كان لها دمسي You can see you, but you cannot hear. Oh, you can.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, no. If you don't mind, Dr. Taglaimanat, could you please restart it? Subo, Dr. Taglaimanat, kami dyan matajud.
If you don't mind, Dr. Taglaimanat, could you please restart it?
Restart.
Subo, Dr. Taglaimanat, kami dyan matajud. If you don't mind, please restart it.
Yes, I'm here again. Yes, I'm here again. That is an issue. I think it's the stage where they have Instagram akan lakukan sebuah dari abjad meter terakhir sekali dosen. Aku akhirnya nyokok medrah dosen. Ya, medrah dosen semua doa ada kata. Asal ada asal. Awal habis. Atau dia mungkin yang ada tanda kita tegur baru maksudnya. Jadi semua bezalo, bezalo semua terhas kata terus nanti ada bezalo ani kapti Facebook share terdulu buat Facebook. بالتلفزيون او تذكرات ولا حاجه شيء زعلان لي معناتها يعرف كان بيضا سيان عنده تذكر
هو يكون دا قبل كويس شقيق
مثلا يا بس تجرب الرعايه لو تسمع عليه هنا بنظام كل تعرف ما تسمع هو بس تسمع اذا هو يكون دا قبل كويس كلنا يعني حابين فيسبوك التلفزيون او تذكرات ولا حاجه
دكتور تغلايمانات راح أهمية قبل نفسها.
نقول لهم من تجربكم دكتور تغلايمانات راح أهمية قبل نفسها.
يوتيوب تبغى يسمع الله ما يوتيوب تقولكم يوتيوب تبغى يسمع
Test. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2.
دكتور تغلى ሃይማኖት ሰማዕን እንተለያ ቀጽል ንሳ دكتور تغلى ሃይማኖት ሰማዕን እንተለያ ቀጽል ንሳ እሺ ተባለ Should I continue?
You want to turn off the projector?
Okay.
Should I continue?
Screen
Okay.
So what are you trying
I'm going to
to-
talk about how the.
So is this
I'm
one
to Ryan.
of those speakers?
This will be a little bit of Ryan perspective. To Ryan collaborative perspective.
The problem is this one. There's two windy sounds.
Okay.
The problem is the steep one. There's too many sides. That's my head.
Where would you like the audio to be heard from?
From the audience.
It's not coming from the projector, it's coming from the speakers, isn't it? Yeah, that
Where
is not.
would you like the audio to be heard from? It's not coming from the projector, it's coming from the speakers, isn't it? Yeah, that does not like the audio to be heard from. It's not coming there.
So there's a delay, is what's happening.
So there's a delay, is what's happening.
Test.
Test.
Yeah.
There.
Okay, go ahead, Dr.
Test.
Okay, so I will talk about how the war on Tigray, and particularly from Isaiah's electoral is about reinventing. So I will talk about how, and I will talk about how Isaiah swaying the environment is about reinventing his own Tigray. And I will sort of provide
Okay.
We end up seeing what is going to drive the last 2.5 years, and sort of like analyze in terms of like how that is connected to unity with the imperial past, and how Isaiah is sort of like
I don't know where. Okay. Is it possible for them to be? Bad radio. I can't fix the sound.
Okay. Is it possible for them to be going? Because I have no idea. I can't fix the sound. Okay.
I'm not really sure why there's a delay. I don't know, because that's not, I don't know. It could be because it could be coming from their end. So this person's unmuted right now. Right. So stay unmuted while he's presenting. Because, and then if there are any questions, it'll probably, because there's like a delay on his end, and his speakers, maybe he's not connected, he doesn't seem to be connected to the headset, so it could just be repeating back, and he's hearing it on his end, but because it's playing out of his computer, it's going to be heard in his microphone. Does that make sense? So mute yourselves while he presents, and then when you guys are presenting, if you present, I would tell everybody to mute themselves. Because now that it's muted and I'm talking, you can't, there's no echo. And I believe that when it echoes, it's coming from someone who's unmuted on the side.
He's the only one who's unmuted.
Right, so it's probably coming from his end because the speakers are probably playing it, and it's going to be heard over his microphone if he has it at a certain point. So it's nothing that I can do on this end. It's just a matter of people muting themselves. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Okay, can you hear us now?
No, it's muted.
It's muted.
It's muted.
Can they?
If you are joined,
Can you hear us now, Dr. Sulaiman?
Okay, you can hear us? Okay, good. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the contractors were using more other stuff. Contract to the during the last 2.5 years is the mass displacement of population from Tigray population from across different parts of the region and the atrocities that are associated with the campaigns to play. When I talk about mass displacement, I'm talking about millions. No. Like at a point, more than a third of the population was displaced, and at one point or other, every Tigrayan in the highlands, in the farms across Tigray has been displaced. And so when you read reports of displacement, it's often about people who in cities across the region being burnt out. We could see a lot of infrastructures that were torched. We could see a lot of villages that were put on fire. That was also accompanied by looting and transportation of all kinds of properties, civilian properties from the region to outside areas, including the Eritrea and Amhara region in Ethiopia. And this was followed by, well, not followed, but subsequently this was followed by a speech that led to a catastrophe, like military catastrophe you have. We're talking about the days of hundreds of thousands of people due to lack of medical help and food, and their food storage were looted and destroyed, and as they have been displaced from their homes, and they don't have access to services. It's very difficult to find credible reports about the scale of the crisis that happened in Tigray, but like a lot of officials are now admitting that up to almost 10 million people may have been killed, both in active conflict, active war, but also the organized massacres by soldiers that went from village to village, from town to town, killing civilians. And from hunger and from lack of medical access to medical help. So, for example, you have this Obasanjo, the mediator, the AU mediator, saying that up to 600,000 people may have been killed, and this is very generous coming from a guy that has clearly sided with the Egyptian government and its allies. And there are also figures that show that close to 1 million people may have died from the crisis. And I think these are quite conservative estimates, given what we know took place in Tigray. Like, I mean, literally, if you talk to people that have now telephone connection, you could hear how many people in each village were killed, how many people have disappeared, how many people have been wounded and subjected to torture and to rape, to all kind of violence that one could ever imagine. And one of the features that has been quite underreported is the impact of this crisis on the environment, on Tigray's very fragile environment, an environment that has been heavily invested on by the population in order to recover for the last three decades. Which I will come cover during the presentation today. So what is the war about? What was the crisis about? Or what is still going on? So what is it about? So I know a lot of you probably know about the nature of the Ethiopian state. It is an empire. It's an undying empire that has sort of like one of the few empires in the world that have survived all the changes in the 20th century. And as an empire, it has a very distinct nature of governance, distinct form of state, which is so Ethiopia has kind of like reinvented itself as a republic, but it is a transition that hasn't undergone the kind of change that the republic should have done in order to claim to be a republic, a sovereign republic. So. Now, a lot of the violent nature of the imperial past are still ingrained in the Ethiopian state. That always come out whenever there is some form of disagreement, political disagreement, and that violence is quite part of how the state deals with people. And the war, one of the very threat about the close of the war has a lot to do with centralization. Birds of autonomy debate that has been going on for decades in Ethiopia over the last century. Like a lot of regions, including Tigray and other regions, arguing for more autonomy, whereas certain actors, including urban Ethiopians and certain actors in Ethiopia, continually pushing for more centralized imperial kind of government. And then the war is to a large degree the result of this back and forth debate, counter argument between the two forces. And Tigray has been at the forefront of the argument for the autonomy and has fought for autonomy in the 80s and 70s, and which led to the formation of the federal government in 1995. And as an empire, the great, and according to Kinali Oman, he's the author of Schindler's List, and he has a book on the 3 famines, great famines in the world, including Ethiopia, Bengal, and Irish famine. And he writes about Ethiopia, and he, in his writing, he argues that the struggle in the Ethiopian empire has been about keeping the empire, and to keep the empire has often meant that we have to use brutality. You have to use the application of one other act of discipline to control population, the act of creating famines and creating conditions that force people to beg for mercy from the state. And we have seen this happening over the last 150 years, 100 years, where we have seen the state intentionally creating famine and famine-like situations in order to subjugate population. And it has happened, for example, in Warsaw, in Eritrea, in Tigray in the 1970s and 80s, and it has happened before, prior to that, in Tigray, in Warsaw, in Bochum, in other parts of the country, over the stretch of 150 years since the formation of the modern Ethiopian empire. And this has the disciplining practice of the empire has always focused on making peripheries, the regions that revolt, the regions that rebel against the government, making them unviable to be self-governing, making them poor and in difficult, putting them in difficult positions in order to make them unviable and for self-governance. And in this process of making regions and defending population unviable and difficult to live, one of the tools that the imperial state used is the environment, destroying the environment, destructing, causing damage to the environment which people depend on, including river like irrigation schemes, farms, all the kind of different resources that people depend on have been the constant target of the state over the last 150 years since Menelik. Probably prior to that, but there's a lot of more documentation since Menelik. The environment in Tigray has always been political, because Tigrayans see the environment as their ground. They want to maintain access to resources within their region, and they see it as their only way to resist the imperial subjugation. And then the Ethiopian state sees it as a way of controlling the Tigrayans and making sure that they don't rebel against the central government. For entire Ethiopia, degrading the environment is part of the effort to make the region unviable and as an autonomous and self-governing territory. And the presentation of Tigray as a rocky, barren, unruly, hungry land where it is impossible to sustain life without being part of Ethiopia. It has been the constant kind of thinking in the Ethiopian political system over the. So if you talk to anyone, particularly from urban Ethiopians, you would say that Tigray has nothing to offer to Ethiopia. It's a poor barren land that has nothing to offer to Ethiopia. So we don't care. We don't care about it. So if the Ghanaians want to stay with us, they can depend on us. They don't have any resource to be themselves. So for them to for the Ghanaians to survive, they have to be. And that kind of thinking that has been in place. And this kind of the thing goes to the way Eritrea was portrayed when Eritrea was under the Ethiopian Empire until 1991, where like you can was often heard saying like, what can you get from a habit, for example, or like what can you get from like a chunk or a rock? What can you get from that land? There's nothing in barren land. So that kind of creation of a narrative about the place that has always been part of the empire's way of controlling people. And you have this portrayal of the guy and certain territories like Bono and Afar has always has been momentum, even in the way the media covers the land. For example, you have this reporting by The Economist, I'm not sure, where it presents Tigray the land of hunger. It's the land of hunger. It is a place where the infamous 1984 famine happened. It's a place where the famine now is happening. It's a place where people are actually starving on the face, on TV, everywhere. So that kind of portraying Tigray that way has been a tool that the defense used to. But these are not land of hunger like the Tigrayan farmers have produced for centuries and for thousands of years. They have lived off the land, and they have shown time and again that they could make a living out of the land. But the presentation of the way they have been governed, they have been put in that situation has been a way for the empire to control them. In Surrender and Start, a book by Robert Kaplan, he quotes government officials in the 1980s, where they clearly say that they want to dry out in order to kill the fish. But fish being the rebellion, population like Tigrayan rebellion, the Eritrean rebellion, the war of Congolese in the 80s, where the Turks saw that they were descending populations and that they want to drain them out of the country in order to make sure that the armed rebellions originating from that. And he also quotes two cadres in Uganda in the 1983, where one of the cadres tells the Tigrayan peasant that I will dry out Tigrayan population place and force the bandits to give up. You are the backbone of the bandits, so we have to break you first, and then we can destroy your marrow, the core. And another cadre added, he says, we will not stop with the people, but we will destroy the whole land until the last tree, which is clearly showing that they will destroy anything that supports life in the land. And there are like stories from the 80s where you have Turk soldiers going to villages, burning houses, cutting trees, and doing a lot of damage to people. And the result is the 1984-1985 famine in Tigray, in Eritrea, and in Gondar, where we saw close to 1 million people who perished from famine. The number is still very not fully known, but Tigray and the northern Ethiopia is known for the 1984-1985 famine because of what the dirt has been doing to the land and to the people before that. So, and we had the Mengistu regime at the time to call for resettlement of population from those regions to what they call fertile southwestern Ethiopia, and where they used that pretext in order to push people off the land, to drain the land in the north, to take people out of what they consider the field of rebels. Which was intentional to liberalize us alone and to create the landscape from people. And you also see that the options really saying that in several documents. And from Tigrayan, the environment is a means of resistance, and I think it's for the same for Eritreans, same for other people who have been countering imperial conquest. It's the environment, it's the land, it's the trees, animals that live in the land that they think are the way that they can fight the conquest in this situation. And we have seen that in Tigray, for example, since the 1980s, farmers have invested a lot to restore the land that was degraded. We have seen a lot of investment in terms of restoring the forests that have been depleted and restoring water sources that have been dried up. And I think it's sort of like a response to the settlement and displacement which the Ethiopian Empire considers is the solution to the Tigray question. And this has been documented, like the impact of the efforts since the 1980s have been documented. I think this is a researcher at the World Research Institute in Washington who said the scale of restoration of degraded land in Tigray is possibly unmatched anywhere else in the world. The people may have the Tigrayans may have moved more earth and stone in recent years to shape the surface of the land than the Egyptians did during the thousands of years of building the pyramids. It's just to show the magnitude of effort that was put in place to make sure that we have land to farm and to grow fruits and vegetables, all kind of things that we need. And there were recognition of that prior to the war. Like in 2017, I think the guy was awarded a gold for like best policies in terms of restoring the environment. And I would just jump to the role of the Eritrean government in during the campaign on Tigray, and we see that like if you listen to like the head of officials in interviews or to the supporters, you could see that they have sort of like presented themselves, they closed themselves as the guardians of the empire, as the guardians of the like integrated, united Ethiopia. So you say, for example, this was an interview with I think his name is Al-Amin Mohammed Said. He's the Secretary General of PFDJ, who says, we will make sure that Ethiopia does not disintegrate. We will ensure that Ethiopia does not disintegrate and crumble, and Guyana does not return to power. And I mean, there is a background to this touching, but he's clearly presenting himself as himself in the PFDJ as the guardians, the new Ethiopia that they. And this is the kind of thinking that is also present in the people, like sidelining the consistent part of it. Like Tigray has been historically been part of, but is now Ethiopia for at least for the last 150 years. And to present almost the Tigrayans, part of the others, as someone who wants to listen to Ethiopia and present yourself as well, someone that's a guardian of the unity is one of the most problematic way of framing your tradition. And the Eritrean regime had been doing this over the last prior to the war, but also during the war. And you see Stefanos saying a lot of this statement, like posting them. And these are like Eritrean officials don't necessarily post, they don't issue statements. And you find them in the Eritrean PFDJ supporters or the regime officials either tweeting or saying in interviews. You don't see the official statement, but you can see the intentions that they have in the tweet and the interview that they give. And this is transparent news. I'm not sure if many of you follow, but this is quite very strong, like pro-regime publishing site. It's a fake, some officials are involved. This is 2014 article. They say Tigray's ultimate dream is not secret. It would love to invoke Article 79 in the Constitution, which is the right to escape from the empire, from the federation. It doesn't agree and become an independent state. But with what resources? This is a fucking barren land. What resources does it have? Does it have to sort of like this is the kind of statement they have. An independent Tigray would be economically oppressed. It is not an economically viable entity. Hence, it is essential price. It is very insecure of its position with the Ethiopian state, but at the same time, it is unable to speak and go away. And the whole campaign around during the war is about this. It's about making sure that Tigray is bereft of economic resources, bereft of resources that people can depend on. And you also see that official people saying things like this, like Sofia Mariam, the president, clearly saying that Tigray is a curse to have as a neighbor, writing party. And those kind of thinking is what resulted in what happened in Tigray during the war. So you have soldiers moving to village, touching everything that they see on their way, shooting at everything that moves. So you have, for example, this is an article that was published on Booth night, and then you have it's a village near the border with Eritrea in front of the northern Assum, where you have that entire village just touched down overnight. You could see, like, if you go back to 2021, you will see the villages that are like all in ash. And the same goes across the village, you have the entire village touched down on the ground. And I'm talking, this is not just a kind of image. I talked to my parents who have been displaced 3 times during the war, and who have lost their house, lost everything that they had in the house, their cattle looted and slaughtered, and I mean the entire area where they live has been razed to the ground, and this is common across Tigray. And I couldn't go to the slides or the factories, but if you go from factory to factory across Tigray, you have that kind of effect, like where everything is touched down to the ground. And we have written a report about like what it looks like from satellite. Like there's a report by the Conflict and Environment Observatory where we scanned, like we just went through satellite image different parts of Tigray, and you could see the impact. The impact being when you burn entire village, like you see on the right side of the screen, on the left side of the screen, people have to do something to survive. Those survivors of violence have to go back to the village, cut down whatever they can find, and rebuild their homes. They have to leave off the wood that's around them in order to rebuild the houses and their farms and everything that they have lost during the violence. And the effect is, you can see it on the land. Like you have landscapes that have been cleared over the last 2 years because of this process.
You have
so,
minutes, Dr.
Yeah.
Like wrap up.
And just, yeah, so I will be done in 2 minutes. Yeah. So you have large-scale troop movements that led to that kind of violence I showed you on the image. Indiscriminate attacks on landscape. You see like you see soldiers saying, so where are we finding this artillery? Like, it's going to ask to share, whatever. We're told to find it anywhere. And then you could see that from what happens in the landscape. You have homes and gardens and everything that have been shelved and destroyed and eventually affected. And then of course like systematic cutting of trees, destroying vegetation of the gardens and irrigation canals have been featured. Mass displacement of people would lead to, like, for example, over 1.2 million Tigrayans from West Tigray were pushed into the highlands, the fragile islands, like into Adwa, Shire, to Tigray, where there is almost very limited resources to support them. And you see clearing of landscape around those towns in order to find fuel for cooking and for construction. Yes. And then of course, the war also means that there have been like total collapse of the governance that allowed investment, the kind of investment that we saw during the last 30 years. This is image you could look at. I can send the slides. And you see, like, these are also officials from the government also tell you that, like, this was, for example, the head of the Bureau of Agriculture in Tigray in May 2021. And this was the government that was formed by the federal government during the occupation of Mekelle in 2021, who says environmental protection and restoration that we have invested on 30 years and for which we have won global prize has now been completely reversed. Areas that were restored and showed progress are now burning, forests cut down and converted into charcoal. We are not able to save us. This will cost us another 50 years to recover from. We could not even pay the salaries of rangers, the people that grow seedlings to plant. Most of the seedling stations are also broken. So it's from this that I sort of like conclude that the campaign is about making Tigray that's marginal, a periphery that has no influence on what goes on in the Tigrayan border region. It's entering the region. The peripheralization process also it involves the killing of the people and displacement of its population, creating, and they also say like, they say that in official statements, and creating society of displaced persons and degradation of its resources and the environment in particular. We have seen that, and we also hear that we have turned Tigray's politics into food aid politics, which is what they have clearly worked for. And just like Haile and the Derg regimes are listed in Tigray and Rwanda and Eritrea, Isaiah's troops have systematically destroyed farms, homes, and so on, with the aim of turning Tigray into a place impossible to live in and unviable for other self-governing entities. And you probably see that they often repeat term that
it's a killer. It's not it cannot declare independence. It cannot be autonomous. It cannot be. It's a killer. It's a small region in Egypt and self-authoritarian. And this kind of revelation also shows you the intention behind all the investment in terms of destruction. I think I'll just pass it. But Tigray is not a barren land. It's a beautiful land full of history, full of people that can work in a landscape that is really rich, and you cannot easily turn that into barren land. And people, I think, will work on that. And this is, I think, one of the ways to do it is to discuss with friends, people like you guys here, to talk about what to do, how to help people restore what they have lost during this crisis. And that's what I would say. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the excellent presentation, Dr. Taglaimanov. We really greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
رايمبار زي خبركم تخاطرتي قلت الفلتو على قناه ساعات في اللي غيروا له كن نرجع كيبنا هنا قلنا خير له حجي كان حجي لدحراي نتوم ناي دك غزان بلوم عليهم على نمروسي كالوتون نعاتهم قرب صبت كنا بلومينا مالتي نحجي جن دكتور حاغوس صبرها باي كنا غربكم هنا تግራይ cultural heritage damage the role of Eritrean forces. The floor is for you, Dr. Habos. And then, since we have not got your bio, could you please briefly give us an introduction about you? Thank you so much.
Would you?
Yeah, Dr. Hagos, are you there? Could you please unmute yourself, Dr. Taglaimanov? No, Dr. Taglaimanov is the best here. Can you? Yeah. Still there. Where is Dr. Dr. Hagos, Allah khado. Tadi lahab nabat musih kutsiliha. Okay, member musih Allah. Okay, I think Dr. Hagos يسمعها زي هالوه حاولنا مسي بتصدق.
Okay, نجي شير قبرك أنا هم يخو.
هو قال لك كاتبين شير قبرك تلي هاي.
Okay.
Okay. You ready now? Oh, ready.
يسمعون لأن اللي يجي كلها كلها يكون يعني تعلم وكلنا يعني في الزمن تعرف سنتي زعما زعما سواتي محمد تعرف سنتي أجمعهم إرترا شو سوات إسبتها تسمين حالي يتنون في سوامي كمان زعما سوات تعرف سوات مثل إرترا حزب أساسي سوي تجربة مالتي شو سوات ده السؤال كافة تاسي كله كل حاجة يعني ترجع تقول كل حاجة زخاني ممتاز برزلو مش عارفه مش يعني ده واحد ما لازم تعرفين ممكن النساء كيف مش مسؤول لازم تسمع زي حاجة يقول خلاتي النساء كانوا يتي كان له ترى ما يفعل سوءات زمن كاسي كان ما يفعل أنا ممتاز كمان سوءات زمن كاسي كمان سرعة كل يوم سلسلة اسمها سرعة سوءات الكاتب كذا في شعرية سوءات النار سلسلة كم تقاسس كم عن ولادكم مستلفة عن الفنيت ما يتقول السب ولد عادي ينبر وموت مستلفة عن اللي بعده أو كانوا متخلفين معهم متخلفين بعدهم متخلفين سبحان الله كانوا إذا عملوا ما كانوا متخلفين ما كانوا يخافون كانوا زغلبي أن قد تصلوا ويزر يعني ولد عادي ينبر وموت وزن ميتوت الواحد ولا تبيتوك سوز بالكامل عن الموضوع قانون وتي مسألة إذا ساعات مثلا تصير بيقولوا أنا أستاذ مهندس السواق والكلام سواق زين أقدشناتي إذا ما تنسى نقول مالك لازم حجي تطلع عملك على كرسي الحجي اللي يزلهم وشوف كم معصنا معصم زتقال كم معصنا معصم سواق زتقال يعني حجي أشوفه لهم درجة كاشتوشان سوتشاتون تستان حدا كاشتوشاتون صحابي سوتشون مكس أنا زمان كنت كون كاشتوشان سان سان ولا بس ولا تشاتشات استمروا أبزي سير درجة نفس البعض سبعة واحد كم سوات سوات من شكل المسار أبزي زي تسرف سوات ولا يد كنا تسرح إذا كانت زمان نعطي سواء كان نعطي من التحالف التعدي والتهجم كل كذا برسالة سرعة الزمان سنبدأ هزم سرعة كذا مشاعر مسلم سنبدأ خصوصا حاجة اليوم سود على كثير من الأمور يعني كل كذا من المناطق مستمر هذا هزم ذكرت بحر حاجة زمان عشان عم تأثير الهزم ብዙ ታሪካት የሆነ ስልጣኔ ታሪክ ሰው ከአልፎ ይሆናል ምክንያቱም ዜጋ ናሽናል ባይቃል ዘመኑ ህዝቡ ብዙ ሆነ እሱ ውስጥ ሁሉ ባህሪያቱ ምስለ ሻዕያ ባህሪያት አሳሰብ ታሐስቡ ኩሉ ነገር ከብትን ውስጥ ተፈጠረ ነው ከአንሱ ወሰን ጊዜ ዝጅምር ስታይነት አይደል ስለዚህ ካሱሰን ሐደን አንዱ ዝጅምር ማለት ነው እሱ አስካለ አቀዳማይ ደረጃ አቀዳማይ ነገር ከሱሰን ሐደን ሳይንስ ሐደን ሱሰን ሸሰባት ተሰውየው ነው የሚተውበት ይሰራል ለሐደን ከስፔሱ ወጥክሰቶች ሐደን አሰቻቸው እዚህ ሐጂ ከስራ አስተሳሰብ ነው ከዛ كل سبعة حيث يقول سبعة سبعة للذين بتعب بالعين يعني مساحات سبعة تحيلكم جنوب أساسا تشحط تحيلكم جنوب فوتي سنزل على زيادة من أنزال مالتي زيادة أزلنا عن نتم سوء كما نزرب ولا سكر ولا تيجي الحمد لله تعتني بكثرة الكسوس ولا جناسو كده من الويرس تعطي الكالسيوم بدون كل حاجة فلذلك بس كوارث واحدة التي يشعر المسلم. لذا أزمن الزتعالي بالخوف سيكون معي. أوكي هجي تتي لقيت سنجار أزمتاني سأحسن يبقى يسوع أزمتاني كل يسوع كل يوم كمان ولا تسمع في الأسئلة. ምክንያቱም የትምህርት ሕብረተሰብ ኣተሓላልዋ ትቀበሉ ወተተእምኒ ነዚ ሕጂ ንሪኦ ዘለና ስርዓት ወይ ከዓ ነዚ ሕጂ ንሪኦ ዘለና ሲስተም ስታብሊሽ ክገብር እዩ ካብ ዝሰጥፈሉ ነገራት ወለገለ ንኣብነት ሃይማኖታዊ ህዝቢ ህዝቢ ኤርትራ መብዛሕትኡ ወይ ኣመና ክርስትና ወይ ኣመና እስልምና ኣብ ሃይማኖት እስልምና ክርስትና ድማ ብመስዋዕትነት ዝተጠቀሱ ኣብነታት ኣለዉ ታሪኻት ይጠቀስ እዚ ድማ ኣብቲ ህዝቢ ኣብቲ እምነት ናይቲ ህዝቢ ሓድሕዱ ማለት ስለዚ ነቶም ኣብቲ ከድግዮም ዋላ ኣብቲ ውግኣት ሰውቲ ድማ ስውኣት ኢልካ ብምጥቃስ ኣብቲ ህዝቢ ከምዚ ኣመሰለ ኢምፕሬሽን ክንሕድር ንኽእል ኢና እዚ ውይይት ሓሳባት ሰሪሕናካ ክበሃል ይከኣል ማለት እዩ ሕጂ ካብቲ ሃይማኖታዊ እምነት ናይቲ ህዝቢ ነዚ እዞም ካልእ ኣብቲ ባህሊ ናይቲ ህዝቢ እውን ኣሎ ኣገዳሲ ዝኾነ ህዝቢ ዘነባብር ዝነበረ ባህሊ ኣገዳሲ ዝኾነ ባህሊ ንሱ ዝገበርዎ ወይ ከዓ ዝተበለፁ ሻዕደ ስለበለፁ ሓደ ንኣብነት ካብቲ ባህልታት ገለገለ ንምጥቃስ ንኣብነት ትሙት ብጣዕሚ ኩሉ ኣብ ዓድና ሓደ ሰብ ከሎ ብጣዕሚ ክብረት ኣሎ ኣብ ርእሲ ሓደ ሕብረተሰብ ሓዝና ብጣዕሚ ሓዘና ካብ ሓሊፍካ እውን ንክባር ናይ ውቁታት ናይ ምኽባር ባህሊ ليس حل كله تطلع تحلفون تخيل تخبر إذا كان تطلع تحلفون ليس الحل كله سوى كلام زمان من ده تدخل كلام حل من ده تجيب عندنا كانوا حلفون تي زوجة اللي سكاري وكان زوجة حدر الحرام مخبر زوجة الحرام يعني بعد حدنا نعم نتكلم أبخا ولا كخاص تخا حد تعرف تسأل حد تعرف تسأل زوجة من كله دوكم دوما وحد خاطر دوم لازم تعرف لازم تسأل زي هي بتصير هذا حد لا يقطع حد لا يقطع هذا زبالة كرماتي كمان في المكان اللي أنا برتدي نعم لكن يسمى كان يقول كان وزارة السيد التنسيق في ملاك نفس كمان كان يقول ساعة من الواحد حد الاستراحة لأنه وجزء من الكلمة التي تكون أشياء الصراحة تحبسوها إلى سبحان كان وزتكم في يوم كثير كانت تبدو صراحة من القرار واحد في السنة إرتاح ويتعامل مع ما يتعامل نفسه كم عمل وقلنا بعض يعني حتى عادسي بزي كانت ما خلال الوستي نفسها إلى كنا كم حدا في السنة التي تحمل سنة فبدأ حكم حكم تعلو مسكين تعلو ما راح تدور ما راح تعمل نزيد تلبابلو بزبان حكي ونسمع الذين زبان حكينا بعد خلنا على السطح نزيد نرسل نحكي بين الأخبار تاشو قاعدين كا من يفعلوتي على السد أساسا شو هذا المستيعاب تعلو ولا هذا الأمر ولا نفسيوتي زين بعد خمسة لونزين نرسل ولا على السكي مالك شخص نجي مالك كابتن نسأل حاجة واحد نسأل حاجة ترى الكريستيان اللي كتبعتونا في حوادث الكون وترستي ولا حاجة على خاصم أو تعسو ولا عمستو ولا على كسبت نجي كريستي بعدين تقول عجز بعدين تقول سلازم زخار الحياة تقول حاجة ولا استي من جوة استعسوات الرسوات مع الوقت أساسي خصنا كل مشيش كم زور صار خلينا نقول رأيت ولد والكترس كلنا عن المراحل عن المراحل كلنا تعلو ترس له تطلع أنا أعرف حاجات نتحدث في المحل وزور حبيب عجيب تعلم ترس له كتأمل 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 مراحل يوم مراحل فجي إذا كان حالي كم بعد أوصل الحل على سبيل الملكي أحتم حدش مصر أشياء مراحل ناس خاصة أو كم بعد سوسي أو إنتنا سوق إنتنا لا إستقبال حتى ما يحمل سوق أسوق فجي أشوف أنه البحر السنة ما تقعد تيلو كواجب البحر من التعاملات سريعة طبعا كلنا بدي تبغى أنا بدل بس زمان كله نعرس كأنرجي ومتحدث سنة زمن اللي مو خمسة زمن تعمل زمن لكن أو من تجارب لكن بزيو كامو هم يعملوا من الناس يعني لازم نزخل زعل السنة باقي متحدث كرتات متحدث مع عشان كرتات سنة مرة كرتات متحدث نزيد سنتعلم مسخن من الجي مسيوس كيرشايا نزحج الأسرع تغيير أنت كم يزول على السيد كتقول أنت كسيد أنت بعد أنت سكت السيد كم عندي ما نسأجي بخمس زبادي لحد زين الحين يصير نعمل حلقات كسر خمسين حلقة تصل تقول طب لازم هذا حسب زمان راس أنتي نسحب أنتي حزين كفاس نسحب كدح خلوا الحكم وتوقف يسحب خلوا الحكم سفكا خلوا أنا ما أصول خلاه يسحبكم وتوقف يسحب خلوا بعد كم يخلوا منتي سحبت أجرات وسحبت معنا هذا هاتي مثل الختام المسخالة هذا سوء أزمان هذا سوء أدنى هذا سوء أدنى نعم هذا سوء أدنى تبقى هنعيش حياتي نحضرك ولا نحضرك يبقى مش نحضرك يبقى مو هذا سوء أزمان كذا سوء أزمان من هذا سوء أزمان من هذا كله لا تبعني ساسا بالرسول سبحانه وتعالى يقول كرسان حالي سبحانه وتعالى ما يسعى شغله بحال ما يتشابه سنة سنة حجوا ولا عين ولا سواتي أقربوا مسلمين ثلاثة من زمان ثاني بشيء لازم بشيء حدث سوات خلنا هذه نزول أقل بجوز في طول سنوات أقل بجوز في طول حسب العالم حسب أمريكا حسب الأوروبي هذا المصلحة كائنات المصلحة خمسة ممكن كبرت ومديرون أكيد ممكن سكان يعني سعد السوات مع الناس سوات حبرنا حبر سوات خلاص معسي وبدأت ولا ممكن سكان الإحساس سكان الإحساس مسائل أجيب زمان حبر سوات تحس الحكم الحالة هي تسكتون خطية زي كانوا أبغى سواء من حاجة اليوم من كابتن سواء من حاجة الاستدراج كمان سواء لازم ودي كم من بعد كم زحمة تدخل زحمة تدخل ولا يسوي ولا حاجة ولا حد يسوي زحمة مسوى تحت الكاس كذا زي الكل نحن زي كذا بدو زي ما كان تمسوها والحاجة لما تقدر تمسوها نلحق السوق كسر منه سوق منه على الجلسة زي ما قال حبيبنا بوسوي قال حبيبنا أسمع لكم لكم زحمة خسارة ولا أسمع بس لو أرسلنا لازم يكون في سوق زمان بس وكان حالك النقاش أرسلنا لازم يكونوا خمسين كأن يقولون التحدث كان يعرف في الكنيسة من البروس أكيد هذا لازم معنا لما نبتهم يقولون عند السوق أكيد لازم معنا عند السوق تقولين كل كلام قبل أوكي وتخاف خمسين ولا كان خمسين ما تزين لا ما تزحفها يخدم خليفة ما خليفة خليفة بس خليفة بس خليفة يدرسوا سرعة ada solusi yang untuk menjadi ada semua perlu difahami. Tuh ini acuan kita sebagai berbeza. Apa? Ada apa dia? Sebagai apa ini? Mereka harus kalau bersungguh jangan bersama dengan kali zaman ini zaman berbeda cuma semua itu sesuatu yang بحب من بحب الخيزر والأرز تعبنا هذا الجمل هذا السؤال كان بايع وما هذا كمان كان بايع سنتاني سياسة عيان وصحيح بس أعتقد عشان ما نقول عن بعض كنت تقول جملة ولا نسوي خلانه على خاطر الدولار في السودان يقولوا كلهم نفسي ممكن أي كلمة نعمت صار حبيبته مسؤول أي نقول مسؤول نحن مسؤول أسماء نقول حسن سيد السجن هذا ما تنسى كل شيء حاله ممكن يصير عن السجن أنت تقول لك أزمة زكيته وتصور تقول لك أزمة زكيته بقى هو يهتم بالسلطان يخلق كما سيد فلا تزكي بالو أنتم من بين المؤمنين فلا تسب بقى كل ورانو دخلوا بيتو مسيرو وداتا أنت رجعت من بالونا صح بالونا أنا سكني خليك نسمع لك القصص كي نعلم والكابو الخال مستحاج كله مستحاج لذكاء حاجة كي كنا في أقسام أتي رأسه أتوقع سنستعمل معاه كفلا نبي سنستعمل نحن سبب له شو سبب له فاهم كتبوا كانوا سنحجبوا حجبوا لنا نستخدم يعني ولا نسميه ولا نزيد نستخدم الحال ولا نبين لك أزمان كونسيو ولا كابتن حالو ولا كابتن شو الواحد ولا كلا أيضا لك أنا بنياتهم شو يمكن أن يكون شو تقولون الجزء ولا كحاجة نقول خلاص لما كان يقول الجزء itu baru susah bagaimana. Sebenarnya tidak ada kiri di bawah. Itu sekarang apa yang terjadi ini? Sebenarnya kerja akhir suatu juga kerja yang terbaik. Atau ada yang harus ada awal jadi. Misalkan disida, yang kita awal kata itu nasibah ada sebab jadi nak sebab nanti ada sesuatu yang terkhusus. كان عاوز هيخرج البحث ولا حاجه سوى شيء يعني الفرق اتنا مش على ماكينه ولا ماشي كنت تقول جيران جبلهم كمان ندعوت لا اتلسكيت ماشي شو قالوا جيران خدموا نفسي لكن زرقوا كمان لا صغير كان حاجه زي دايما يقولوا هاي انكر سوى اساس تخبر بعض زي معناته سواء تخبركم وحبر بحق الحدثنا وسواء وارد الإسرائيلي سواء وارد والحدث السياسة تسعى هذا مسحة الفنانية ساعة تسعى سلسلة مثلا ساعة تسعى سلسلة سجنهم سواء سواء أسي لا يبقى في رؤوس الفتحون تعليمات كان زي ما نحن نردد يعني kami bersama bersama dengan khidmat Muslim. Tuan saya susah ada di jemaah tadi. Itu semua akan susah ada di jemaah flat. Mereka itu seperti tadi ada sekali. Kehilaf itu kita harus ada istilah kemana jadi. Ada hati batas berbulu dengan kita lazim bercakap. Bagi tahu kita tidak sekat semua kata semua mazal sebab lesson kami menurut lesson tadi takkan wala nanti sesuatu yang dilakukan ditahadap dengan kita كم زيرو وش كم زيرو من حتى يوم لا أبدا أنت عم تشوف شعيرات أو تمام بس كم زيرو ده أو شعيرات أو تمام تزمنها تنسيق شعيرات السعادة كلها بعمل كذا أكثر سيد الشعيرات زين أو تغير شو ما يمارس زينها زين كشيء وجمعيات استخدم ساعة النبي وزاجات شعيرات تتعود كلها زينها الماكس إنت تعمل تتعود نقول زخل ساعات نشوف شعيرات نقول زخل ساعات نقول زخل ساعات ما نفيد ما سير بحري زخل ساعات سير بحري زخل ساعات ما نفيد ما نتحدث اسم الساعات التي نتحدث مو مفرد معناته كبحرياو أبحران كبحرياو أكلمي وشيء نقدر نسخن ولا حاجة عليه لذلك كتير زي كانت الأشياء اللي في الحجاج ولا يمكن كذا خيسوا لما جيت لحوالي أصلا فحبيشوا من ثلاثين نقول زخرين ساعة كل مكان نقول زخرين ساعة የተሐረተሰብ ከባህሪያዊ ሙሉ ይስሉ ከባህሪያዊ ቦታው ስነ አእምሯዊ ማህበራዊ ኤኮሲስተም አንተም መስመር እንደበረ ዛት ከመረ ኤኮሲስተም ዳይናሚክ ይላል መጣን ማህደረ ባህሪ ይላል ያ ኤኮሲስተም ማለት social and natural ecosystem also maintenance. Carbon helps higher habits added to one. Captain natural ecosystem helps higher maybe one minute. Is the app for the one that is the habitable? Which is the highest possibility which we can have. The so I just human. This is the criteria. There is a good criteria. As we see the category. Se caso nell'università se tu non hai funzionalità si anche l'università si è l'università se la buona è una visione o la avere un senso se non si è erta cara è sempre sai quello del com strada se tu non hai perché sarà tranquillo e ti hizbi fazendo anche un chat quello عشان أقول لك النظام التي كان يحزب تبصي من السنة كان من سنة معناته النظام نعم عشان تعرف بس حسب السنة بيجي على حسب السنة زي كان ما كان يوصل السنة الأسرع سنة سنة بيجي على بيجي زي كان سنة mas hoje na Ertra ما أتوسع لكن زي سلسلة على صحن قصيرة كمان تزيد خون كون دخول تزيد لو كي أبوشتي بموت السبعة كله أبوشتي بمس الحق حالة تانية كله بينا تزيد تأكل تاني بحامشتي تزيد حاجة أنا أكتشف من حال تميكس تشيل من حال يوصل من زمان كذي يوصل زين تقول فزي ما قلت وصل حزب إرترا كانت حوش حزب الجامعة هو حزب السلام نعم حزب إرترا كان 5 سنة استنى بس مش حتى من كسر كله بخلته نتي 4 جميلة حزب إرترا كان كده سنة استنى بخلته نتي 4 على الفصول حمشة من جميل تعمل له تأتي مدرس الخطوات سلسلة حمشة ولا سلسلة حمشة كل نسبي كثير فعلا أبسط إذا يتحقق صار المسنا ما كنت حمشة مسنا حمشة زول حمشة سلسلة نسبي كثير أنا مشتاق لكم معايا كلهم جغرافيا معاك أنا معاكي كلامي إذا يفرح المليون إذا يفرح المليون إذا يفرح سنة مليون من المليون سنتنا هجي إرترا كنت نتبحمش ولا سنة نتبحمش إذا تراي شو حتقول كمان إذا تأخذ تنسى شو حتقول إذا كسر إذا ترى كسر بتاعك ما نقول شيء زي بتاعك بس ولا كسر كل همون كلام بدك الكنيسة كاملة وخيرة الإنسان كتبته كاملة موتن سندتن بمعسكرتن بحي موتن بمزاج من أحدش سلزي موتن ما ينولد حبل السنة يخلص عن تقولون إن بديس إذا اختشم أصلا شو مثلا مستفدت دور مستقبس مين يعني نحميه من السد كأنه نحاول كأنه نتيجة كذا سلام سرعة مستقبل زي سرعون في شعبية مستقبلته زي سرعون سرعة سلازم كان زي القرآن عن غير المعلومات زهر زيان مش مسواه مشاكل حزبان لا السرعة كل ساعة كل بلد تيجي ولا لا متى حاول تبدين ودي سبب تبدين ብዙሃን ግን ኮንግረስ በኩማን ግን ተስፋ ወደ
Right. Yeah, غنينا روسيا. تاشيد الكاس تقدر فيها فيها.
اوكي كاسوالو اوكي.
نعم إذا مسكين ذكركم تغتاتلتي كنتي فتوى حجي وان بتي زلوا ملابات مالتي وان مسح مخانيو. قلت كتسلينا مالتي. لما زلنا مبنى على عناص عطكم كاتم بزوم تكاتاتلو على جزاهم سلزلهم أو خلهم جلنا وسطكم قلت دكتور حابس أبرها سلزلوا نسخة السليم مالتي سك دكتور حابس أنت اللي خدنا الباس
سلام بدل تقول لهم إني أسمعهم نسلمي تعالوا عليك
وأنت معك لنا أكيد.
كاتل.
كاتل حرة. briefly لعبة أثناء كبايو فصلنا مثلنا قال لنا تغير كذا على رواية حسبوني ركنا.
جروب حدث بحال كان جرماني Hamburg University, my postdoctoral research area, manuscript culture background, philology, PhD, linguistics, Bahrain, Tariq Tahad Malikim, University of I specialized Center for Political Philology and Manuscript Studies, Masratin at Hawara. عاوزون نحطوا عن تقسيمات على عندك برسي تقعد عن سنوات مسرح ومتيس زي أقوال بعدين تاريخ زي ما تفهم هاي أيام بعدين يعني سكرين روشة تقدر
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to present in English. My topic is agricultural heritage damage, the role of Eritrean forces. As I tried to explain my background, I have been documenting and assessing agricultural heritage damage from the beginning of the war. So it's a preliminary assessment. It's not well and scientifically stated. It needs detailed investigation, but this is a general assessment about the war and its cultural heritage damage. And today I'm going to talk exclusively about the role of the Eritrean forces. Of course, it's very difficult to single out only the role of the Eritrean forces because they were collaboratively doing from the other invading forces. So I'll try to manage to the theme. So to save time, I will not focus on the introduction. As many of us may know, Ethiopia and Eritrea have had a common or shared historical travel from the second millennium BC, but mainly the first millennium BC. You have these pre-Aksumite civilizations like Ihad, Amat, and other civilizations which have influenced the cultural, economic, and other values across the Red Sea corridor of North or Horn of Africa. So we had no, I believe we had no any kind of geographical or political distinction between Eritrea and Tigray, mainly for the 13th century, which is the idea that we can think, the era that we can think about the Bahr al-Gash, under the King of Kings of Shua. And the most important political or whatever disintegration was substantiated by the colonial geographical demarcation of the 20th century. So it's to me that Tigray, when we say Tigray and Eritrea or Ethiopia and Eritrea, mainly in my field where we study manuscript culture, we say Ethiopian and Eritrean manuscript culture, but it was Ethiopian manuscript culture, whatever, because it is under the same shared value. There is no clear or distinctive pattern of value or cultural pattern of value, regardless of the political situations today or in the modern time. So most of the Tigray contribution to the East African civilization are still shared with Eritrea, like magnificent architectural workers, alphabetical or alpha-syllabic system, introduction of Christianity, and the introduction of Islam, the monasticism, and scripture.
Recording in progress.
Are all shared into the northern part of Abyssinia, most importantly Eritrea and Tigray today. And regarding the war, all orders against humanity have been committed, like civil massacre, ethnic cleansing, genocide, rape, ethnic cleansing, destruction of investments and private properties, the competition blackout, and so on. My today's presentation was exclusively on targeting Tigray heritage materials, and most importantly, with the Eritrean forces. So we had massacre, mass killings, persecution of monks and priests, attack on churches and monasteries, ecclesiastical materials, damage and looting of manuscripts, sharing of archaeological sites. So the contribution of Eritrean soldiers in each of these actions was so bold and in the front. So these are some of just sample of massacres or mass killings. The number varies from sources to sources, but we can see how much the Eritrean forces contributed to the brutality. And more than 326 church leaders were reported to be executed at the beginning of February 2021, which is only 3 months into the war. And most of these murders or massacres were not all, but most of them were committed by the Eritrean forces or Eritrean soldiers. And there were also many other monks and priests killed within the months after that. So but this is a clear data with list of names and places and the actors. And also attack on churches. We have assessed more than, few hundreds of churches and monasteries in Tigray were affected in one or another way. During my assessment, I have just taken a sample of 42 churches and monasteries, and 48% of the damage and destruction was committed by the Eritrean forces. So this is the name of the monastery, the place where it's found, and the amount of damage and the actors. So the picture was by the Eritrean forces, because we are classifying the invaders are the Ethiopian National Defense Force, the Eritrean forces, the Amhara militia in Afano. These are the most known ground invaders, so that's why I'm comparing with these others. And tarnishing of ecclesiastical materials, sharing of archaeological sciences, like this is the palace of King of Sheba, and later on the Assumption. Otherwise, it's in a later period, but it's assumed to be the palace of King of Sheba. We died in looking at manuscripts. This is were done from the monastery of the Ali Christos in the Western Tigray. And destruction and looting of private properties. One may ask a question, how do we know and means of the data collection? It is from some monasteries of Tigray, Christian monks, when there was internet access, few months in 2021, and some individuals who had satellite telephone from the field during the war. I had strong contact with them, and from the survivors of the genocide or ethnic cleansing, compared to neighboring countries or Western countries, local and international media reported, especially DW, TTV, BBC, CNN, and Al Jazeera, some social media footage, observation from the research during the first 3 months of the war, because I was in Tigray, and during the first 3 months into the war, and possible data transmission was made, and this is a preliminary assessment, and will further need detailed scientific investigation. So this is Tigray. I have taken just some of the samples of monasteries. These are not the only monasteries which were attacked, but these are some of the monasteries which were attacked by the Eritrean forces. Absolutely, which is believed to be the dwelling of the Ark of the Covenant, and it's the head of the church. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, or monasteries and the churches in Ethiopia, was attacked in its anniversary day, in its commemoration day, 28th to 29th of 2020. So there are estimates that 800 civilians were killed, including Christian children. It was during the eve of St. Mary's anniversary day. Sometimes there are 800, 750, depends on the sources, but at least estimated to about 1,000 or big hundreds of civilians were killed. According to the curator of the museum of Aksum, the archaeological museum, 26, 10 of them gold and 16 of them silver ancient coins, on which there were written things or inscriptions were looted from the archaeological museum in Aksum by the Eritrean forces. 7-day supplication ritual where the Christians surround and circle the sacred church of Mary Zion 3 times was destroyed 3 days after the attack on Aksum. And heavy cars with heavy loads were said to have been in many of the restricted areas around the Aksumite states, and this is also by the Eritrean forces. 2 other archaeological sites around Ubro and in Aksum and Debute have also reported that their shelter, fences, and related archaeological materials have been looted and vandalized by the Eritrean forces. And this is another church in Turkos Legat, which is in Zala, Pakistan. Most of you might have seen this. So it was destroyed by the soldiers. This church was. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes,
we can hear you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And so this is the church of Turkos or Turkos Legat, and this is the Mescala Christos of Mahabino. And so the Bergamo was shelled and 5 Eritrean soldiers climbed up to the monastery, and 1 monk was killed. But we don't have clear reports about the damage on the heritage materials. This is Saragashum. Start the guide. Can you hear me?
We can't hear you. It's a bit slow. It's coming.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. These are civilians which were massacred on the Christmas Day of 2020 in Eastern Tigray in Federation. By the Eritrean soldiers, and this is one of the known churches to have its heritage materials published by the Eritrean forces and also many ecclesiastical materials and manuscripts, heritage, and other Christian materials were damaged. They were taken out of the church and they were burned down at the gate of the church of the Overnight. And 61 civilians were killed during the Christmas day, and you can see the church burned, and one old man was tied for 3 days in front of his 3 killed children. And this shows the amount of the brutality. Sometimes it's beyond imagination. And this is Chekoslovakia, which was a very important place in the long distance trade from to the Dahlak Islands in the medieval time. In the historical time, this place is very important. So you can see it's also damaged still by the Eritrean soldiers. We have other reports like this is from Galata Aun Abraham. It was also shelled. Some of the priests were intimidated and some of their properties were taken, but we have a clear report on the church heritage materials. We have also handed out here still by the Eritrean soldiers. So to conclude shortly, just to save time, Tigray cultural heritage materials are part of the footprints of Eritrean history. Nonetheless, the Eritrean forces were brutal enough to dismantle their shared values. Eritrean forces targeted all kinds of Tigray heritage values, tangible and intangible, religious, governmental, public and private, including knickknacks. Like it is honestly, it's really unimaginable the type of properties that they were loading to Eritrea. All the invading forces have committed looting heritage of the project, but still the Eritrean forces type of looting was more official and well organized. It was both narrative distortion and wealth accumulation oriented. The Eritrean forces are perceived not as primary invaders, but as subscribers to the Ethiopian forces. However, the amount of damage and its brutality could be worse than all the other invaders forces. Sometimes it's beyond exaggeration and inconceivable. Generally, it can be said that the Eritrean forces have the biggest role in Tigray cultural heritage damage from preliminary and from face value evaluation by the way, but it needs a serious scientific investigation. So to save time, maybe if there are questions we can discuss in detail. Because I only focus on some of the heritage damages. And so I'm not only about the tangible heritage materials, but also vandalization of values, the way they were wrecking women, not about the wrecking itself, but the way that they did was insane, and there is vandalization of norms and values, and it can create social shock or cultural shock or cultural decay. And one of the most important things in the Ethiopian and Eritrean tradition was that monasteries and churches were used to hide or they were used as sanctuaries, as an asylum for critical time of disaster or war. But this time, the monasteries and churches were not, they were more haven's because the Eritrean forces, also the other forces, were hunting them down wherever it is. The monastery of Waldemar could be one of the most example in this. In the Ahsa monastery, more than 45 Christians were massacred from their own church because they were hiding to their monasteries and churches. So, and according to the Bible, as it's written in the book of Matthew, with its own allegorical or metaphorical expression, that during the critical time, people should flee to monasteries and churches. That's what the Tigrayans have been doing, but it was not meaningful. So there was no anymore. There was not any kind of boundary that could help the Eritrean forces to consider to protect any kind of civilian, religious, whatever part of the society. So they attacked the monks, the nuns, the children, not only the civilians per se, but also children, but also women and monks and priests. So yeah, and this is they are subscribers. And what kind of brutality could we imagine if they were like the direct invaders? And we have to create a question why this is happening. If this the value of this cannot be the value of a certain society, it should be the value of a certain group that has been classically conditioned through time of training as a military group or as a political group, whatever. But this is beyond our understanding as human beings in East Africa. So this is a serious assignment for all of us. If such kind of values, military values, is progressive or mushrooming in East Africa, so the mass killing is an extension of ethnic groups, religious groups, whatever groups will aggravate. So that's what we have to strive for as educated people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abraham. Yeah, Dr. Abraham Hagos, yeah. Dr. Hagos Abraham. Yeah, Rita, sorry. Yeah, we really appreciate you, and So now I think the خبركم تخاتلتي مسح حلنا يعني مسح جزء فرق ساعات نصينا تبهيل الله سلذي فرق ساعات ذاكل لك ساعات كلته بنيو يورك جزء من لسكم هنا مالتي. Ladies and gentlemen, so we'll have lunch for about 30 minutes and we will come back exactly at 2 p.m. New York time. Thank you so much.
Recording stopped.
Thank you. Thank you.
Boleh kita, kalau sahih bersahih mandi, lebar jenis lekonan.